Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. Actually,
Thinking of making a logo using your
I was actually moved to accept this invitation because of the title, the team, Never Give Up, because I've been looking for a platform to be able to share my experiences and my struggles, like you just mentioned, so that the others coming behind me can also learn. First, I want to thank Dr. Namrata, right, and the entire team of Estudia Edusia University, Research University, for the opportunity given to me. I so much appreciate it. It is an opportunity I'm not taking for granted. So, by way of introduction, my name is Dr. Achugamonu Uzoma. I'm the Registrar of James Hope University. James Hope University is the first private postgraduate university established by the National, licensed by the National University Commission, Nigeria, located in Lekki, Lagos, Nigeria. Our university is focused mainly on postgraduate programs, like I mentioned. We have programs we have MBA in different concentrations. We have MSc programs and other postgraduate programs we are currently running. Our programs are unique and also tilted towards uh, producing persons that will become industry leaders, giving our students the best learning experience. Uh, I've, my academic journey has been very exciting and interesting, so to say, because I came from a very humble family. By the way, I have a PhD in development finance. I have two master's degree, one in finance, the other one in banking and finance, and also a bachelor's degree in accounting. I'm a fellow of I'm a member of the World Research Fellow of London. I'm a member of a fellow of the Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, a member of the Chartered Institute of Securities and Investment, United Kingdom, a fellow of the Center for uh, Policy Development Research, Convenant University, and also a member of several professional programs, too numerous to mention. Like I mentioned before, I came from a very humble background, very, very humble background. My parents my father was a civil servant, he's late, and my mother too, a petty trader of blessed memory. They tried all they could. We are a family of eight. Uh, we had eight children, then two, that's the father and the mother. But one went to be with the Lord as we grew up, one of the boys. So we are presently seven, is four male children and one female. So growing up was very, very uh, challenging. It was challenging in the sense that my father was a mere civil servant with a very meager pay. So it was not easy to be able to cater for the educational needs of all the children. So at times we had to resort to menial job, selling of things, hawking of things to be able to survive. It was very, very, very challenging. It wasn't an easy task. I could remember sometimes I have to go on vacation job to assist some families to be able to raise money to go back to school the next semester. So it was that bad. When I was in the secondary school, I remember at times we are coming back from the school, from college, your lunch is waiting for you in the farm. And it wasn't like a mechanized farming system that we have today. It was a peasant farming where you need to really work hard before you can eat. So that was the experience. And the distance between my house and the school where I was, it's something to write. So you have to trek. Eventually, you have to trek, and trekking wasn't an easy. You can imagine a child of that age, 13, 14, or thereabouts, At some point while I was in the college in Nigeria, there's what we call the 6334 system. That is the educational system that still currently in place. That is 6 years in primary school, 3 years junior secondary, 3 years senior secondary, then 4 years in the university. So that is called 6334 system. So I remember in my junior secondary, while I was preparing for the junior WAEC, I had an encounter, a very funny one. We at the gate of the college, that's the secondary school, while we just came out with my friends, we saw somebody that is trying to push his car to start. So the man approached us that we should assist him to get his car to start. So, and with a promise that he's going to take us or drop us off where we are going to. So we were excited as small children. So I put my whole bag, because we used to have what we call prep. That's after school reading or lecture, where after the the close of the school, you stay back to do, especially when it is approaching exam period. So we normally stay 1 or 2 hours behind to do some revision. And of course, after that, you still have to check that long distance before you can get home. And it wasn't funny. It wasn't an easy thing at all. So we agreed to push the car for the man. And I placed my whole bag on the vehicle, my school bag with all my books. For a student that is preparing for exam, you know what it takes. So you always come with all your books, because you don't know, the one that you want to call. You can decide to read anyone, or maybe there is any assignment you need to, you review or anything. So I put all my whole book on the car. And once the car started, the man zoomed off, drove off with my book, the whole of my books, and I have 2 months to exam, my notes, everything. So as a kid that I was, I started pursuing him. I can't count how many miles I covered, trying to track the man. He ran off with my books on the car. Rather than say, okay, maybe give us more change, or say, okay, I'm not going your way. And so that was how I lost the whole of my books for that exam period. And we just have about a month or two to exam. So I was devastated. I was frustrated. I didn't know. And of course, I dare not go back to my parents to ask, because I know the situation at home. So because my dad bought that book, in fact, I can say with almost all his last cover. So I didn't want to. So I had to go to my aunt who lives in the neighboring village. I cried to them. So the eldest son, who is also my senior cousin, took it upon, had pity on me, and had to buy all those books back again for me. So, well, he's late now. I remain eternally grateful to the family for always being there for me. So that is how I was able to write my junior WAEC and came out with very good grades. So moving to senior WAEC, that is after GS3, the next is XS1. I still continued that way, trekking very long distance every morning. At times, we have to wait for lift to see if there are maybe some of our uh, colleagues that their parents have cars that can give us a lift, to the school. So at times you can be trekking, and for over 1 hour, 2 hours, you are still on your way, despite leaving very early from home. So that was the situation. And during holiday period, I always move or go to my auntie's place to help them out in one work or the other, so that when I'm coming back, I'm giving some provisions. I'm also giving money, to continue life the next semester. So the next term, that's what it's called. So that was how I finished. I continued until my WAEC, that is the O level. That's what we call it here. I don't know what it's called in India. That is the ordinary level. That is the last exam you write in your secondary school. And at that point, my dad called me, not out of malice or out of wickedness, but because I have, well, two of my siblings. I'm the third in any way. I'm the third in the family of 8 children. Like I said, my mother is petty trader, my father is civil servant, so I was the third. I'm the third. So we have two of my siblings already in the higher institution, he told me that the much he can do in terms of my education, and I took it with good faith. I did not have, because I understand the situation, and I don't want him to die young. I don't want him, though eventually he did not really live very old to enjoy the fruit of his labor, but I say thank God. So I took it upon myself. I had to leave home, then move to Lagos from my hometown to Lagos. So I started living with my cousin. I was also, you know, trying to make ends meet. At some point, I had to work in the international airports, the arrival hall of the international airport, where I have to sell uh, uh, snacks, and uh, I did a lot of menial job to continue. So at what level, at every level, I'm always working, and also making sure that I save up money for the next level of my academic pursuit. So when I got to Lagos, I had to start doing some manual job, like working in this thing. So what I did was I started doing night shifts at the airport, and I was using the daytime to go to a computer school. I attended Lagos City Computer College, Ikeja. At times I have to trek all the way. I don't know. Uh, Lagos is, yes, looks small, but also very big. So from Ikeja, at times I had to trek from Yaba to Ikeja because I hadn't any money, and I'm not somebody that I like to beg, or so what I do, once it's weekend, I go to my uncles, I stay with them, I help them wash cars, wash their clothes, attend to their needs for that weekend. uh, Once I'm ready to go, they give me tips, they give me some money, so that's what keeps me. And also, of course, the cousin I was staying with too was providing food when he had. So I wasn't disturbing anybody, and I didn't want to be a burden to anybody. So I just took it upon myself to, do all I can to make myself useful. And I found I count those things as a challenge, and it's kind of a motivation for me, that anytime I have such challenge, it motivates me to want to get to the pinnacle of my dream. So one thing that kept me on, and that I will never forget, is determination. I was always determined because I had a focus. I didn't let my dream to die because of the challenges. So I continued like that from uh, that computer college. I was able to gain employment in my first job in Lagos. By the way, before I moved to Lagos, I was also doing some teaching job in primary, secondary schools here and there too, so I became independent because I didn't want to be a burden to anybody. So from the computer college, I attended the computer college in the daytime. I got a diploma in that computer college. In the night, I will go to the airport to do night shift in the daytime. So, but none of my colleagues, none of my friends knew what I was facing. None of them knew what I was passing through because I didn't let my challenge or my problem be like me. So I always wear a good face and a good appearance. I didn't know, I don't know how to, I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me, because I know that what I'm pursuing is in the front, and of course, I won't be disappointed. So that's how I started. Or with the diploma in computer, I was able to gain a job in one of the first independent private television called African Independent Television. Then we were foundation members, we were pioneer members. We started that particular project. So in 19, I started working there in 1996. Around 1998, 97, 98. So there was a promotion. I was in the human resource. Everybody was promoted except my very self, except me. And I really worked my soul out. I worked hard to ensure that um, I made my own contribution, being a pioneer uh, television station. So what happened was I approached the manager at then, who was also a very uh, good mentor. What she told me was also another form of motivation for me. He said, go back to school. So that was the challenge. That was so. I took jump and I was working. I was also going to school. That was when I had my first degree. I come back during holidays to work. I always, shuttle between work and school. So as I was working, I was also writing professional exams. In fact, my life was all about struggle. I never, all the things that were in, youths of my age, that useful exuberance, I didn't let it to affect me because I had a focus. I have a dream and I kept pursuing my dream. I didn't let any distraction whatsoever to stand in my way. I didn't do what normal young chaps uh, that were born with silver spoon were doing. And though I had the opportunity to misbehave because I hadn't any of my parents living with me, but I told myself that, look, you know where you are coming from. You can't mess up. So I had that determination, and by the grace of God, I continued to push forward. So I went to school and, of course, graduated, had my first degree, uh, started my master's, and started other professional programs. I had, like I said before, I'm a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Accounting, a fellow of Chartered Institute of Banker. So I started all my uh, professional exams while I was working. So at one day, while I was in one of the centers where I used to go and read for my professional exam, my wife visited. By the way, I got married 2005, yes, October 22nd, 2005. My wedding was 20 years. I had my 20 years anniversary this October 2025. Yeah, 20 years wedding anniversary. So all the while I was working, I was writing exams. I had family issues too. I needed to sort out. So I didn't let any of those dissuade me. Both the family challenges, the children. What I do was I resolved that during my exam period, I would just take off and move straight to the near the exam center. So there are some we used to call them open heaven. Some secondary schools that are in the town that I go to read. So God bless me with a vehicle then. So I just put the 50 liters of water in the boot of the car. Then with few clothes and maybe some other personal effects, I take off. So I stayed there for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I sleep under a bench, a wooden bench in the night with an open roof, in an open roof where there is no window, um, no, no door. So you know what it means. Mosquitoes will feast on you. All sorts of manner of insects will feast on you. But it didn't deter me because I had a focus. I had a goal. So in the morning, I sleep in that class with other people too that come around to read. Is we call it ICANN Center. We use that place on Saturdays for professional training for those that are writing professional exams. So in the daytime, I go to the library. In the night, I come back when the students have left. I come back. I sleep there. So that was the routine until maybe 2 weeks, 2 weeks to the exam. Then I now move to a nearby hotel in close to the exam center. So that's where I will write the exam. So that was the routine until I was able to clear. In fact, luckily for me, as God will have it, I never had to repeat any of the exams except for Chartered Institute of Bankers because that wasn't my core. And because of time, I don't want to go into details of how I started that too, but it's something that really spurred me to enter into that. So I wrote different professional exams, and by the grace of God, I was able to make my grades, and here I am now. So it was those professional exams and my master's program that gave me the job, the teaching job, lecturing job at Convener University, where I now had to do my PhD. So at the completion of any particular degree, it is the beginning for another one. That is the way. So once I complete anyone, I never had time to, for rest or anything. Once I complete one, it becomes like a kind of a the basis for me to start pursuing the next degree. So that is the way I operated. So, and there was no moment of um, joke or play or gallivanting with friends. I never had friends. I never had. In fact, as a matter of fact, while I was working in AIT that time, I remember the first girl I was to marry before I now got married to my wife in 2005. I missed him because he came to my house. He thought I was inside, the way guys, joke with play with girls, thought maybe I was inside with another people, but not knowing that I was in the office. I slept for 3 good days at a stretch in the office because there was jobs that I needed to deliver. And by the way, while I was there, too, I used to do projects for people, type projects for people. I was working with an executive. So that was how I missed that girl. Because, of course, my neighbor, we were sharing a flat. So my neighbor came out when she was knocking. I said, that she believed that I was inside, but not knowing that I wasn't inside. So the girl left a note that she will never come to me again, this and that. So I felt bad that I felt bad because I felt he did not trust me. So if he trusted me enough, he wouldn't have been. Please, is there any way I can know when I'm supposed to, maybe 5 minutes before I conclude this presentation so that I can do the needful? So this is 10:51. So that was the way it was until I had to get to uh, Covenant University where I did my PhD, and PhD was another issue. It wasn't funny. So having a family, also running for postgraduate studies and professional exams, it wasn't easy. So that is how at the completion of one, I'm already planning for the next one. So I did my PhD, started my PhD. When I got to Covenant University, I had to do another master's because I didn't have the grades for direct PhD. So I had to repeat, I had to do another master's program. So that's why I'm having 2 master's programs. So I wasn't deterred by that. I even to some extent that even the staff called me and said that he hoped that I'm going to deliver on my promise, that if not, that I'll be kicked out within a short time if the student complained that I cannot teach or anything, because the grade I came in with from the first masters I had was not enough to go for direct master. Maybe I have to go for MPhil, which I didn't want. So I had to do another master's, which we call terminal masters. So that now helped me to obtain a PhD grade to be able to do a PhD. And I came the best in my faculty in that second master's. I was the best student in my faculty. So I was not deterred by all those challenges. I was not pressured. Despite the pressure, I did not succumb to those pressures. I did not allow anything, family challenges, and every other thing to deter me. I trained myself from the first degree, second degree. I had 2 masters, professional exam. I paid my way through, though I had the support of for example, when I was doing my first degree, I was supported very well by AIT, that is the company I was working with. And also when I came to Covenant University, I also did my degree it was on scholarship, though I had to sign a bond. So that was the way I evolved I was able to lecture in Covenant for 10 good years. And also after 10 years, I was appointed the registrar at Covenant at James Hope University. So that is my story. Uh, I don't know if uh, I still have some time. So that is my story. That's my career journey from cradle to grace. I had a lot of reasons to back off. I had a lot of reasons to, in fact, at some point in time, I felt I couldn't make it, but here I am. So at times, that kind of voice that will come telling you that no, you are wasting your time. You are just, please don't be deterred. Don't let anything to bring you down. Don't let anything to kill your morale. Be humble, be focused, and also avoid distractions. I never let anything to distract me. My friends, those when I was in AIT, some of my friends, some of them, they go to club weekends, but instead of going to club, I prefer to go for lectures, professional classes. So that was my story. That's how I was able to get to where I am now. By the grace of God, I have 4 children, 3 boys and a girl. My first son is in the university, he's in Covenant University studying mechanical engineering. And I can only say my second son too is about to write his WAEC. I can only say it's the grace of God. It's not by power and it's not by might. It's just because I persevered. I was not deterred, and I accepted every challenge that came my way. For example, when I was in AIT too, the second promotion came even after I'd gotten all the necessary degrees, even with a master's, because I was even on the same level with my executive director then. So there was no other place to. What I was told by the HR that it's better I resign and go to where my qualifications will be, valued, will be cherished. So that's why I had to move to. And of course, I've always had the passion to teach, to impart knowledge. And that's where I had to move to Covenant University, where I became a lecturer and did my PhD. So at any institution where I find myself working, I always use the opportunities that are available to improve myself, to build capacity. So I did not stay back and say that the world has rejected me. I never allowed anything to deter me or anything to bring me down. No, challenges will come, trials will come, tribulations will come. Of course, if you get to the top without passing through a phase, I don't think that's why they say it is easier to become a champion, but more difficult to retain that position as a champion. So you must have to, that is why gold is gold. Gold had to pass through a lot of tests, a lot of fire had to, go through it before it became so pure and acceptable. And there is no tree, any tree that does not produce fruit cannot attract stone. So it is only trees that produce fruit that attract stone. So that is my experience. That is my success story. That is my journey.